Hi everybody, Joel Kennedy with Kennedy Violins. So today we are doing another play-along video, and today we are covering Gavotte from Suzuki Book 1. So I'm currently doing a Suzuki series where I'm covering every song in Suzuki Book 1 through 4. And we're actually running out of songs. But at the end of this video, I'm going to be throwing a dart at the dartboard of destiny back there, and it will determine, the universe itself, what song we're going to be doing for next week. So make sure you hang out at the end of this video so you know what we're working on next week. Okay, so I'm just going to play the song through, no repeats, nothing like that, just straight through. And then after I do that, then I will play it with the metronome so you can see how it fits with the beat, and I will give you some advice and some practice techniques to help you be the most successful you can be with this particular piece. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so now I'm just going to play it through with the metronome. Now you'll notice that this is in cut time, right? That's why have that C with a line through it, so it's cut time. So normally with the Suzuki song, we're in 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, you know, common time, right? So the quarter note gets the beat. So quarter note is a beat, half note's 2 beats, but we're in 2/2 time basically. So the half note gets the beat, and there's the equivalent of 2 half notes per measure. So if the half note gets the beat, well, that means actually there's 2 quarter notes per beat now, right? And there's 4 eighth notes per beat instead of 2, right? So I'm going to put the metronome on 50, right? And I'm going to play it through. So it's going to be dun 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 bum 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 bum, and the half note is half note, 8 quarter, 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 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, right? Okay, so let's play it through. 50. Rests. Rest. Rest. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so we've already talked about the time signature. Now the key signature, pretty simple. It's just G major, 1 sharp, F sharp. So if you've made it this far in Suzuki Book 1, well, you're pretty familiar with, you know, with the key of G major. But let's just talk about the finger pattern really quick. So the second finger, right? So the second finger is going to be high on the G, high on the D, low on the A, low on the E, right? So we have our B natural, high second finger, F sharp, high second finger, C natural on the A, right? And then low second finger, and then low second finger on the E, that's your G natural, right? High, high, low, low. Okay, so pretty simple, but we do have some accidentals in it. So let's talk about articulation, the rhythm, some other stuff. Okay, so in terms of our articulation, we have staccato, right, at the very beginning, indicated by those dots above the notes. And then we have legato section, or tenuto markings, 5 lines down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, in the cantabile section, right? In the cantabile section, so we change characters there. So in the beginning, make sure that you stop your bow in between the notes. And I recommend that you're in the middle of the bow. Don't be here. Just do it in the middle. Reset. Pick up your bow, right? Pick up your bow. Remember, every time you pick up your bow after that rest, then you're going to want to go back to the middle of the bow. Pick up your bow. Pick up your bow, back to the middle. Pick up your bow. Pick up your bow. Pick up your bow. Okay, then we have our legato section. Right, so you're going to be in the middle of the bow again, middle to upper part of the bow, but now you're not stopping your bow at all. So you want to play, pretty long bow strokes. Okay, we'll cover those 16ths, don't worry. Then now the third line from the bottom, right, first measure, we have dots on our bow, but they're slurred, but you just slur them, but keep your right, so you play 2 notes in a bow, but you stop your bow in between the notes. Pick up your bow. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the articulation. If it's got a dot, make sure you stop your bow. If it doesn't have a dot, don't stop your bow, and pretty much play most of this thing in the middle of the bow to the upper part of the bow. Okay, so let's talk about some of the technical difficulties of this piece. Okay, so you have some grace notes in here, right? And you played grace notes before, if you've played the other songs in Suzuki Book 1. And these are going to be played the same as the other grace notes. They might look a little different, but they're played the same. So my suggestion, as usual, for example, in the second measure, you have then in the fourth measure, you have. My suggestion is practice these without the grace notes and no slurs, right? So then, right? Then sneak that grace note in before the beat, right? So if your beat is bum, 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 ba-da, bum, bum, ba-da, bum. So your grace note is going to be stealing some time from the note before it, right? So in the second measure, you have that first finger on the E string, that grace note. It's going to be stealing a little bit of time from that third finger, that G natural. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Same thing with the last measure, first line. Bum, ba-dum, bum, right? So every time you have that grace note, just remember, sneak it in before the beat comes down. But mostly it's just going to be stealing a little bit of time from the one before that. But practice it without the grace note. Bum, bum, bum. Then once you're comfortable with that, which is pretty easy, then just put that grace note in. Bum, ba-dum, bum. And remember, it goes on the upbeat. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Okay, that's about it for the grace notes. So the other technical difficulty that you have is the 16th notes, right? That's what everybody has a hard time with. Okay, so let's talk about those 16th notes really quick. Okay, so the difficulty with these 16th notes, so what I mean is the fifth line from the top, last measure, right? You have, right? So the first difficulty is these are too fast, right? The other difficulty is the first time that your second finger occurs, it's high. Then the second time it's low. So it's a little bit of a finger twister. So here's what you do. Practice it, I'm a broken record, practice it with no slurs first, and then break it in two pieces. So, okay, so the other thing to notice is when it's a high second finger, the C sharp, make sure it touches your third finger, right? Touch, then touch your one, touch your one, okay? So after a while, then the time that you take in between those two 4-note groupings will shrink. So right? Once you get to that point, then remember, you can play probably just about anything, really, if you just practice it properly. That's really the trick. So again, take the slur out, notice the relationship between the strings, practice it 2 4-note groupings at a time. Practice that first 4-note grouping without slurs, the second one without slurs. Then get it so you can combine them so you're not breaking so much, right? Your thinking line. You have a thinking line in between those two groups of 4 notes. Then put the slur in. Last thing that I'll mention about this, make sure you keep your first finger down the entire time. That's going to give your hand organization. It's going to help you a lot. At first it's a pain, I know, but it's going to pay off in spades. So keep that first finger down the whole time. You don't want to do it's gonna slow your hand down. You want to be able to play them in time, right? Well, you're not going to be able to do that if you pick your first finger up. Keep that first finger down. Okay, so that's how you practice that particular section. So the next section is very similar, right? So the second line from the bottom, you have right? But it's the same deal, right? No slur. So right? No slur. Once you're comfortable, put the slur in. You'll be surprised. You can do a lot of things. You can make the impossible possible if you just practice it properly. So, last thing that I'll talk about in terms of difficulty is at the very last line, you have a pizzicato. So you have 2 ups, right? Okay, so a couple things about that. Why did they make it up, up? The reason why they made it up, up is to put your hand where it needs to go. Here's my hand, right here. Oh, what do you know? It's right above the strings. Stick that first finger out. Remember, when you pizzicato, don't pizzicato here. Don't pizzicato in between the fingerboard and the bridge. No, pizzicato here, where the string is softer and it rings more. Okay? So, in slow motion, up, stick that finger out. Right. Stick the finger out. And it's pretty easy. Again, if you just think about what you're doing and you practice it a certain way, you're gonna be able to play it no problem. Okay, kind of messed up the last one. Okay, so that's the most difficult parts. This could become a really long video. I could talk about some other stuff, but that's the stuff that mostly trips people up. This is a kind of a meaty piece. There's a lot here. So just practice it in sections. Make it easy, slow the metronome down, make it easy, then make it a little bit harder, speed the metronome up. It's always the same process. If you do that, I promise you, you'll be totally successful playing this piece. You just have to really be patient with yourself and then practice it in little chunks and you'll totally get it. Okay, so, oh, by the way, don't forget to like and subscribe, right? Google algorithm, you've heard it before. Just hit the, just click the like, yay, like, even if you hate the video, just like it anyway. And don't forget to subscribe. Like 80%, 85% of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed. I don't know, maybe you don't like me, I don't know. But if you do like the videos, you think they're helpful, just subscribe. So let's throw the dart at the dartboard of destiny back there and find out what the piece for next week is gonna be. Okay, I have my weapon in hand. Let's see what the universe is telling us that it wants us to do next week. Okay, so here we go. All right, so book 2. So Suzuki book 2, Gavotte from Minion. So Suzuki book 2, Gavotte from Minion. That's what we're doing next week. Okay, hope to see you guys there. So I hope this video was helpful, guys. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the comment section below, because I do still answer all the comments and I see all of them. And you know, yeah, like I say, I hope the video was helpful. If you have any requests, let me know and I'll probably do them. So with that, I hope you guys have a great time practicing and have a great day.